Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Fraser, and in this video I'll be showing how to do a merge request using the GitLab workflow used through GitLab and Android Studio. So initially here I've created a simple Android Studio project. I'll go over to my Android Studios here. It's the standard hello world, and I've checked that into GitLab using the process that is shown on how to create a new GitLab repository in the video that's linked below. Now here I've got the basic project committed. I'll go back to here to my project page. No README yet. We can see that there's 2 commits. If I click on the repository link here at the top, I can go down to network, and it'll show me sort of the graph as to what has happened so far. So I had my empty project, I updated a few project files, and we're currently sitting here. So inside of Android Studio, I've got the basic project here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show how to go through the process of making a new issue, assigning it to myself, using a feature branch, doing a couple changes through a couple different commits, and then doing a merge request to get those changes back into the repo. So the GitLab workflow starts off with an issue. So in GitLab I'm going to go to my issues page, and I don't have any yet, so let's make a new one, and I'm going to call it something like add generate random number support. Maybe my thing, and my description will be something like have a button to generate a random number, and change the screen. We'll see what we want to do with that in a minute. So I could, if I wanted to, assign it to somebody right now, but I'm just going to submit the issue to start with. So I might expect to come to GitLab with my issues here. I'd have a number of issues listed that I sort of open kind of to-do list for the project. I'm looking for something new to do. I'd pick off one that's a high priority. Maybe I'd go through the boards system to do that. But I'll just say, okay, this is the one I want to do. The first thing I need to do is assign it to myself. So on the right-hand side here, I can click Edit. I'm going to assign it to, well, I'm listed right here. So I'll click on that. It's now assigned to me. So if I go back here, it will be updated to me and assigned on my list. I can click here at the top, and it will then show me a listing of things that I might want to do. So at the moment, this has been allocated to me. This is my demo merge request basics, and that's what I want to start working on. So how am I going to do that? Well, the first thing I want to do is make a new branch to work on this. I want a feature branch, so I'm going to click New Branch here. In the pop-up, it tells me what it's going to name that. So add generate random number support. I'll click New Branch, and it has now generated that branch for me. Now I need to start working on that, so I'm going to switch back to Android Studio, and I need to start working on that. Now again, I've already done a pull from the repo. I can show you how I do that again. I'd go down here under version control, and let's just expand that up. I'm going to do an update. I might as well do it through here. Easy way. Update the project. I haven't got any local changes. It should already be updated. Nothing happened. Okay, so let's start. To make those changes, I can see down here the first thing is that I'm on Git Master. This is a very important thing to get in the habit of checking. It tells me which branch I'm currently on. I'll click it, and it tells me kind of what do I want to do. Remote branches, I'm currently set up on this origin master, and instead what I want to do is I want to check out that new branch that I created, which didn't actually show up here. So my new branch should be called, let me just copy and paste that. Most of that. I'm expecting to get onto this branch here, which I'm wanting my Android Studios to come up with. So let's go back here to version control. I'm going to go to the log, and here it says, my origin /1 add generate random number support. So I want to get onto that branch. I want to check that out locally. So under master, and now it's actually showing up. That's great. Not sure why it took a moment to get onto. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to say I want to check out as a new local branch. So this is on the actual origin. I want to now make it a local branch. So it's going to give me the same name as the easy way to do it. And so now we can see here inside of my log that not only is this current kind of commit the master and the head, it's also of the latest version in this new branch that I'm on, And down here I can see that I'm now actually going to be working to this new branch. So let's make some changes. I'm going to clear off the screen there, and I'm going to start to make the changes that I'm going to need here. So the changes that we want to make are we're going to add a button, and we're going to rename our text view. So the button, when we click it, we want to have a number show up in that text view that's in the middle of the screen. We'll use a function in Java to generate and populate it all. With the text view, we're going to set to a random number and just calculate that between 1 and 100. And here we have the application. I can now generate a random number by clicking my Generate Number button, and it puts it down here in my box. We say, okay, that's great, let's commit this in. So back here in Android Studio, I'm going to go back to my version control. So to commit the project, I want to go to the local changes, and it'll show me here all that I changed. So the only things I changed were my XML for my layout and my Java file. So I'll say both of those are already, it'll add by default. I'm going to say commit to changes. And in this case, I'll put in a description here, something like add button to generate random number. And I can put some details in here, like button generates a random number between 1 and 100, displays in label on UI, or some more details. As you do more interesting changes, you'll have something more specific to say there. And then under here, I'm going to say commit and push. And so this will take my new values, and we can see here that it gives me an extra little mention here that I'm currently on this one add generic or generate random number support, and that's going to be pushed up. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to say yes, push it. The file has been pushed. If I go back here, I can then check out what's going on. So if I go to my network, I'm under the repository in GitLab, go to network, and it'll show me what's going on. So master is now here, and it's showing it in one kind of straight line because effectively I'm just one commit ahead. Master has not moved on. Master's still where it was. So I'm actually working on an extra branch, but GitLab kind of sees through that and says, well, you really haven't got a real branch thing going. But we'll come back to that. Okay, so now that I've done that once, that was my sort of starting process. Now I'm going to want to do it again, and so I'm going to start to do the next set of changes. So maybe I'm going through and I'm going to change the background this time. So again, simulating the workflow that happened in the background, just making whatever change I want to make to the code. Here we'll make it pull a background color from a list of possible colors randomly chosen by the number. So now my application, every time I click the button, generate random number, it not only changes the number but also changes the background color, sort of based on that random number. We say, okay, that's the next part of the feature that I wanted. Let's commit that. So back here we see I've only changed the Java file. So let's do another commit here. I'm going to do a commit change. I can type in whatever I want here. I don't really want to use the same one again, so I'm going to do something like, well, let's describe it. Change background color based on new random number. Maybe I don't need any details on this one. I'm going to go do a commit push. It'll now tell me, yes, I want to push it up to the same feature branch as before. Push that up. And now let's do a refresh here. I'm going to hit F5. And we see that we've got this new change here. Master is now lagging behind, even though I did a commit push, because I'm on my feature branch. We can see here the sort of the different branches. I can go back to master, and master would just sort of now highlight this. If I say I want to be highlighting the new add generated random, it's up here. Okay, so now we've done those changes. Now we say, okay, look, I'm happy with that. I've done my work. I need to get it merged back into master so that the rest of my team starts to work with this. So I'm going to go to the merge requests screen, and I'm going to say here I'm going to create a new merge request. And it says here I've got, you just pushed this. Did you want to create a merge request for it? Yes, I did. So this will sort of pick and choose all the things I had already. It knows that it's associated with an issue. It was initially generated from that. Plus, it's got this 1 at the front. The 1 indicates that this is issue number 1. So I'm going to load this in a new tab. This was issue number 1 here. So my merge request is going to be, well, from branch number 1. And it automatically puts in the information here. That's good enough for me. It assigns it to, figures all that out. What I might have is some dedicated person on the team to be going through and handling these, so I might then assign it to them. I might assign it to somebody else. Now, I'm only a person on this, so I'm going to assign it to myself for that. And at the bottom, I'm going to say submit a merge request. Oh, and the one last thing I need to say is I probably want to remove the source branch when the merge is accepted. So it's going to go from this add generated random branch back onto master. So submit the merge request. So I now have a merge request here. I can see in this sort of my to-do list, it says, well, I assigned myself this issue. I now have an extra merge request. I can go to that, and it asks me, well, what do I want to do? I can look at the changes. So I'd go down here, I'd click on changes. It'll show me a quick summary of what happened. I look at the code, I say, yeah, code looks pretty good, XML looks fine, and when I'm happy with it, I'd click on accept merge request. I might want to go back through here and look at a few other things. See a follow-on video when I talk about how to do a code review, as well as work with merge conflicts. So click accept the merge in progress. It's trying to work it all out for me, and it tells me that that happened, the merge was successful, and that the source branch has been removed. So now if I go back to repository, and then I click on network, it'll show me the graph here that now master is carrying on as before, and I've got this extra branch here where I did all of my actual changes, and they have been now merged back into master. And so over time, this graph will have a nice kind of branching structure, everything coming back into master, coming from master, going back into master. Now that doesn't quite complete the process. Yes, my teammates would now pull, they'd get from master everything that they really wanted. The extra thing is, how do I continue on my work? The slightly dangerous thing is my Android Studio is still now sitting on this branch. This branch has been deleted. Now I could, if I did a change and a commit and a repush, it would regenerate that branch for me on the remote. So that's not such a big deal, but I want to make sure that I'm not kind of hanging out on this branch that's going to otherwise sort of leave things orphaned and hanging around. So let's switch to I'm going to first off do a pull, so let's do an update the project. I'm going to update my project. I'm going to pull on all the changes. Oh, and it says here fatal ambiguous argument. This is unknown revision or path in the working tree. Okay, so that's my hint that I've got a problem, that I've got a pruned and deleted remote reference. So here's my problem I've got. I can't do this fetch. I'm currently on this and I need to get off of it. So I'm going to go down here, select, manipulate my Git branches, and I'm going to say I want to go back to the master. So I can click on this local master to origin master, and that's my master branch following the master. I'm going to say checkout. I've now switched to it. And let's try that update again. So I'm going to update the project. In this case, the update should succeed, and it did. And if I go to log, we can see here that it is also showing the same sort of graph about a branch coming back in. Local changes none. I can check out the console messages if I really liked. And now that I'm back onto master, we'll see that this code has appeared. A moment ago it wasn't here on master, but now because I did a git pull, I'm back onto master, and we can see down here that all of my changes will go straight onto master. I don't want to go back onto this branch. In fact, it would go away, I think, in just a minute once it updates and refreshes. I'm going to want to do my next feature change on a new feature branch, going through the same process I just did.